Welcome to today's explainer. So, you might think a play from the 1950s is going to be some dusty old text, right? Well, scratch that. Because today we are breaking down J.B. Priestley's classic one-act play, Mother's Day. And let me tell you, it is a juicy piece of domestic drama. It's this hilarious, wild story about rebellion, magical body swapping, and a mom who finally, literally decides she has had enough.
But before we get into the magic, I need you to be totally honest with yourself for a quick second. Have you ever left your dirty dishes in the sink or, tossed your laundry all over your bedroom floor, fully expecting your mom to just clean it up? Or maybe you demanded dinner the absolute second you walked in the door from school, right? If you're cringing a little bit right now, this play is definitely going to hit close to home. Because even though it was written over 70 years ago, the whole family drama Priestley explores here is incredibly relevant to our lives today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture a totally ordinary, picture-perfect 1950s English living room. It looks nice on the outside, sure, but back then, that completely normal setting often hid some pretty deep inequality. Housewives were notoriously overworked, and honestly, they were largely treated like unpaid, unappreciated servants in their own homes. Which brings us to our main character, Mrs. Annie Pearson. She's the absolute heart of her home. She's loving, she's devoted, and she's completely selfless. But you guys, she is silently suffering. Why? Because of the rest of the Pearson family. You've got her pompous husband, George, and her demanding, spoiled teenage children, Doris and Cyril. They basically treat the house like a hotel and poor Annie like the hotel's staff, without a single ounce of gratitude. It's rough. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the author introduces a total foil to our main character. Enter the neighbor, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Priestley makes these two mothers complete opposites. While Annie is gentle, submissive, and just kind of suffers in silence, Mrs. Fitzgerald is bold. She is uncompromising. Oh, and she also happens to be a fortune teller who learns some serious magical tricks while living out east. And she decides right then and there that it is time for a domestic revolution. So how does this drama unfold? Let's track the story arc, because it moves fast. At 6 p.m., Annie is just venting, confiding in her neighbor about her miserable situation. By 6:15, Mrs. Fitzgerald is like, enough is enough, and she casts a literal magic spell. They actually swap personalities. Their bodies stay the same, but their minds switch. Fast forward to 7:30 p.m. The spoiled kids and husband come home expecting their dinner ready, but instead, they find mom smoking a cigarette, drinking stout, dealing cards, and just ruthlessly putting them in their place. She totally flips the script on them. They are terrified and completely humbled. Finally, by 9 p.m., the women swap back, and this newly respectful family actually stays in for the night to just play a game together. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive data-driven shift in the family dynamics. I mean, think about it. Before the swap, the family's appreciation and willingness to help hovered at basically zero. They took her entirely for granted. But after Mrs. Fitzgerald's terrifying, wild intervention, shared housework and genuine respect shot up dramatically. Annie just giving in wasn't working anymore. It literally took a radical disruption to force this family to step up and develop some actual empathy. Which leads us to what is for sure the absolute mic drop moment of the play. Mrs. Fitzgerald, while occupying Annie's body, just lays it out there. Husbands, sons, daughters should be taking care of wives and mothers, not treating them like dirt and taking them for granted. Boom. It's such a heavy, dramatic line, and it serves as the perfect transition. It takes us right from a hilarious, magical body swap comedy into the very real, serious moral of the story. So the crucial point is really understanding the social messages Priestley wanted us to take away here. There are 4 big ones. First, the dignity of domestic work. Homemaking is immense labor, and it absolutely deserves respect and time off. Second, the necessity of assertiveness. Kindness without boundaries just leads to exploitation, right? Third is unconscious selfishness. The Pearsons aren't cartoon villains. They're just completely blinded by their own habit and privilege. And fourth, family equality. The play demands a 40-hour workweek model for moms, basically saying domestic labor needs to be treated with the exact same respect as a traditional job. Let's move to and see how this builds from the actual dramatic devices Priestley specifically used to craft this brilliant satire. He pulls out all the stops from his playwright's toolbox. First, the transposition, or body swap. This gives us, the audience, an objective perspective to clearly see the domestic exploitation. Second, he uses heavy satire and irony to expose the pure absurdity of treating your own mother like a peasant. And third, realistic dialogue. Even with a crazy magic spell going on, the whining, the excuses, and the family arguments,
They feel incredibly grounded and totally timeless.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a thought for your own classroom discussions. Is this personality exchange a realistic solution or just a satirical metaphor? Obviously, we can't just go casting magic spells when things get unfair at home. But the underlying moral, that is completely real. Respect at home isn't proven by just handing over a card on Mother's Day. It's tested and proven through daily actions and shared chores. Empathy has to be practiced actively. Keep that in mind the next time you think about leaving a dirty dish in the sink. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.